Honestly, I think a lot of teenagers, maybe most of them, are afraid of sex. Some of them show that by being literally afraid of sex. They hide in dogmas like religious abstinence just to avoid it, or they just simply avoid it until they're ready. Of course, many teenagers seek out sex as a goal, a curiosity, or even some form of social capital. Some go along with it because it's just what you're supposed to do at that age. And of course, many teenagers have sex because they're real horned up and it just seems like the right thing to do at the time, whether they're ready for the task or not. And in America, I don't know if anyone's ever ready to have sex for the first time. It's daunting. First, there are the consequences: disease, pregnancy, judgment, feelings. There's also the act itself. How do you do it? Why is this person making those sounds? Is this good? Is this bad? Will you be disappointed, or worse, disappointing? I never got the talk from either of my parents, and growing up in the 80s and 90s, television and movies did not help me prepare for physical relationships. There was the AIDS crisis, there was the collective moral judgment of people who did that sort of thing, and mostly there was a widespread projection of women as a prize to be obtained, a land to be conquered. Women didn't want sex because that would make them harpies, trollops, and whores. In in straight people land, you have to butter up women if you're nice, or simply wear them down if you were any number of shitty teen movie boyfriends, or worse. And watching this stuff, I was like, well, why would I want to have sex with a woman if she doesn't want to have sex with me? So my freshman year of college, I went out with a very nice girl named Valerie, and after our second date, she said her roommate was out of town and asked if I'd like to come over. I said sure, and we hung out for a bit, had a really nice time, and after a couple hours, I was like, well, see you later, and I left. No conversation about what we both wanted, no questions, no approaching sex at all. So while I have never seen 1988's Night of the Demons until this week, I know this movie well because this is the 1980s depiction of teen sex that permeated my thinking. There was no modeling for how to talk about sex with a date, how to understand someone's timeline or desires. As a hetero boy, you must choose to either play the game or go home. As a hetero man now, I know better how to have these conversations, and that's good. But my problem with movies like this aren't gone. They're just different. For instance, where will I ever find a woman who will cover her body in lipstick, grow her teeth long, and then gouge my eyes out with her talons? Because, like, hit me up, ladies. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Did you ever get the talk from your parents?
No, no, I
No.
know I never did.
I know
Nope.
so few people near my age that got, or maybe of any age, that got the talk.
No, I don't. I like, there's never, like, not at a like adolescent, your body's going through changes. Never got that one, which,
Mm-mm.
being a relatively hairy Jewish boy, I was like, well, there's not normal hair growing from places where hair normally wasn't growing. And actually, that I think I got more from watching David Cronenberg's The Fly than from my parents regarding the changes your body is going through. But
I
when
was
it
just
came to sex, no, it was, I think I kind of short circuited that maybe potential conversation by coming out as gay. And then my
mm,
parents were like, well, we're not touching this for at least another decade. So
yeah. And by that time, I'm sure he'll have figured out more than we could ever
yeah,
say. Yeah.
yeah.
I think I got several of the talks from TV parents because that was a
Okay.
classic trope, right? Of parents hand wringing, pearl clutching about, oh God,
Yeah.
we have to talk to our teenage child
When a
about
man and a
this.
woman love each other very, very much, they hug each other really tightly, and then a baby is born.
I want to say I was almost 30 when I finally looked up, like, I've heard the phrase the birds and the bees so many times,
Yeah.
and I have no idea what it's referring to.
Oh no.
Because there's just a thing where I'm
You're
like,
like, birds, bees,
I'm
what?
like, what on earth that, like, do those two animals fuck each other? I don't understand what's happening.
Should it be like the bugs and the bees, or the birds and the bird? I don't know.
Yeah,
What a delightful, probably Victorian euphemism.
of course. I bring this up because of this movie is real horned up, and it is.
Do you know this movie is 80s horny and it's 80s party all the way?
Two of our favorite tropes. We love it.
Yep. And
Uh,
also 80s mean all the way,
yeah, it gets
in a very
all of
like
those.
sleepaway camp, like We love watching 80s teenagers be super mean to each other, even though they're supposedly in the same friend group.
Yeah. This movie's on Shudder as of this recording, and the very first line describing the film describes it as a cult, a cult horror film from the 80s.
Sure.
And this kind of fits the bill of a cult film in the sense that it's it's lesser known, right? This is not
Yeah.
This isn't
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, this isn't
Yeah.
Jason, whatever. But it's a movie I hadn't heard of till we brought it up last week. And so it has that, and it also, there's a real camp factor to it.
Yeah.
It's got some real sassy witchy girls in it, which
Yes,
is
it
really
does.
fun. And it also, as a a spoiler alert, it has the rare situation wherein a black character does not die, first or last.
What a twist.
Amazing.
It's like reverse racism.
All right, so
Oh,
let's.
this movie
Oh, God.
is ridiculous. And to open up the ridiculousness, I love a good animated title sequence.
That is verbatim what I wrote on my notes, the top of my notes. Love a good animated credits montage. Yeah.
And it's because it's so spoopy.
Yeah.
And this one's good. It's very the music is real. Like, I made this on my Casio keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
I pressed the preset settings on my Casio keyboard from Radio Shack.
Your
And
SK1. Yeah.
yes, and it's not the animation isn't like really intense or anything, but it's so spooky and spoopy, and it's just
Yeah.
like witches and skeletons flying into haunted houses, but cheap but fun, which I
Yes.
think is a pretty good moniker for this movie. Cheap but fun.
Cheap but fun. They definitely sacrificed continuity and logic for the most part to have cheap fun. And I
Yeah.
think I thank you for your service to our country. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Salute you.
Yes.
So we get, I think we start with Stooge, Helen, and Roger.
Yes.
And Stooge is exactly what he sounds like.
Yes.
Big dude wearing a giant piggy nose.
Mm-hmm. Kind of
driving.
like he's got a pretty cool mohawk going on back there.
Yeah, he's
sort
got
of
that
like
late
faded,
80s
like
Vanilla Ice shaved lines
yes,
into the side.
that's like summer dyed, and I was like, okay, all right, I can get down with Stooge.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the worst. Like, he's the loudmouth, Oh, I gotta say one thing about this movie. One of the reasons that I think this has such a cult following is that the lines are ridiculous. Some of the insults that these teenagers call each other, I don't think I've heard the word butthole more times in my entire life. And it's kind of spooky season, and I've been watching a lot of the Simpsons Treehouse of Terror, the Simpsons Halloween specials.
Uh-huh.
And going back into the early Simpsons canon, you realize, yeah, butthole was a legitimate like cut down in like 1988.
I will use butthole occasionally, and I think it's a great word. It's really funny. There's something funny about going backwards with your cussing.
Yeah.
I like saying holy crap a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's great. I like even bordering on like it's not quite to parent cussing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, sugar bears or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's not
but
quite that. Yeah. Oh, sugar
but
bears.
it's very it's quaint. That's what it is.
Yes.
Butthole is quaint. Another word I
Butthole.
had not heard used just sincerely, earnestly in a long time was bodacious.
Bodacious. Yes. Oh,
Really good.
man. You know what I also love? People beating up old people.
Oh my God, this movie's so mean. Their first thing that this car full of people does is pull up to an old man walking on the sidewalk. It's Halloween night.
Yep.
Old man with his groceries walking on the sidewalk, and they moon him. And then we've got Greaser Sal.
Yeah.
Dangles a rat in his face.
Yeah, and scares him, and that causes him to drop his groceries. But Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
And then we have there's just so many people converging on this old man. We've got this car full of people. We've got our Stephen King classic greaser Sal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we've got Judy, who's going to be our final girl here, like the
Oh,
good girl
Judy.
next door, Blondie, and she stops to actually help him, and he's like, "I don't need your help, you rotten little whore." I'm like, whoa.
Like, whoa, okay, Grandpa. I know you're having a rough time with it, but all of this means, and I love it, and it's just so funny to have like introduce all the characters in the movie, most of the characters in the movie, by like this one poor old man
Yeah.
who's a menace and a terrible, terrible human being. But it's just like, let's see how, like, as sort of a litmus test of like morality, where do our characters fall on the Dungeons and Dragons? Are you chaotic good? Are you neutral evil? Like, where do you fall on this spectrum here based on how you treat this mean old man?
And it's very 80s schlocky horror to have our two survivors both be sort of like true good
Yeah.
or
Good. Yeah.
lawful good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So also we noticed that so he spills his groceries in this whole process. And when Judy was like, well, fine, you do you, and walks off, we see him picking his groceries up, and he has bought not only a bushel of apples, but also a carton of razor blades,
Yep.
which
Oh, the
is so
80s.
80s. Yep.
The most suburban 80s. This movie really is like a bit of a time capsule of what people in the 80s who kind of grew up out of the teenage realm then tried to like retro write, this is how it was in the 80s, and everybody's like acting all crazy, and it seems so silly to this day.
It's very ripped from the headlines in terms of what are our cultural fears at this time.
Yeah.
There's no like subtlety here. It's just, yep, razor blades and apples. That's what's happening in the 80s. Every
And the
kid in
old
America is getting a razor blade to the throat because they're eating apples they get at people's
Yes.
houses.
Did you like, okay, what were the other 80s like, be careful on Halloween? There was like you get razor blades in your apples. Was
It
there any
was
other?
well, there was definitely like injecting,
Oh yeah.
candy with poison or
Like
drugs was
bleach.
the one I
Yeah.
heard that people would like.
Okay.
They would like inject your Snickers bar and you can't like with heroin and you'll get addicted and die. Like that sort of like just say no era
Yeah. Oh
of
yeah.
America.
It's
And
very Nancy Reagan. The Nancy Reagan-ness of it all.
Halloween was the first place I heard the urban legend about, although I think this is universal and not just Halloween. But it was Halloween when I first heard about the cars with their headlights off,
Oh
that
yeah.
if you flash your brights at them, that's like a gang initiation and they'll kill
Yeah.
you.
Which if you ever watch the movie Urban Legend,
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely featured in that one.
Perfect. Okay, so back at Judy's house, she
Judy.
is
I just
Judy.
love the name. Nobody's called Judy anymore. It's all
No.
like Hannah's and Savannah's and
Mackenzie's of
yep.
15 variations on Michaela's. Yeah.
Here we got Judy, Angela, Suzanne,
And her brother or her boyfriend Jay and her little brother Billy.
Yeah.
Who were Billy.
That little boy.
My God. More of Billy. I want his own spin-off series.
Billy the mean, Billy's gonna like grow up to be a cocaine snorting mean comic in the later in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But he probably won't make it to the 90s. I don't think.
No, absolutely.
He's gonna run away from that suburban, all that anger deep down inside, run away from suburbia. Yeah.
He's gonna be an absolute like Bill Hicks knockoff type. Yeah. So she's getting ready for a dance. There's a dance at the school or something.
Going to the Halloween dance.
Yeah, Halloween dance. And of course we get she's gotta like take off her panties and skirt and like bend over in front of the camera to pick
like
things
directly up. Like, just let me get my asshole right up in this camera.
Excuse me, Cecil, it's called a butthole.
Oh, excuse me, butthole. Madam, might you show me your butthole? Why, certainly, sir. I bleached it today.
So Jay, her boyfriend, calls, and Jay is like, listen, baby, we're not going to the school dance. We're
Dances
going
are for
to,
losers.
that's right. We're going to go to Angela's party. She's like, Angela? She's all into witchcraft and creepy stuff. And they're having this party at Hull House.
Okay.
And she's like,
The Legend of Hull House.
That's right. Okay, so that's the party that they're gonna go to, right? Also, her little brother at one point in time, while she's just like in her bra and panties, like jumps out of her closet wearing a mask
Yeah.
to scare her.
Haha.
Haha. And he says, bodacious boobies, sis. I lived with my stepsister when I was in junior high and she was
Yeah.
starting high school, and I can't imagine any moment where I would have ever been like, yeah, I want to like surprise my sister while she's getting dressed.
Yeah.
One,
I'm
Marsha
gonna
would have slashed my throat, and
Oh,
two,
okay.
but two, just the idea of like, yeah, let's see my sister naked. Just
I don't know if it
weird.
was like, I want to see my sister naked. I thought it was more of like, I'm going to hide in her closet and scare her.
Mm-hmm.
I
It was
think
more the comment on her boobies that
I know.
I was like, whoa,
So
my dude.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Sal shows up and gives little Billy $1 to learn that the party's at Hull House, because Sal's like, where's Judy? What party's she going to? Who's she going with? Creep.
And then steals the kid's mask.
Yes, that's right. Which I was like, okay, Chekhov's mask. Nope, this never comes back.
No, not at all. Lost to time. But it's good to know that with all these like nice, lawful good people, we do have sort of a mean character, because, you know, sometimes mean people make it to the end of movies because they're inherently self-centered. And when witchy shit starts happening, they're like, nope, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Sal makes it pretty far. Admittedly, he makes it pretty far in this film.
He surprisingly has not a well-formed one, but like it's on the way to being well-formed character arc, because he starts like he never really states or demonstrates that he's learned anything, but he becomes
Jeffrey. Nobody's learning anything in this movie.
No, of course not. So I don't want to make it sound like they actually carefully gave him, you know, a learning educational moment in this film. There's no epiphany from Sal other than I'm about to die.
Yeah,
but I think with Sal, he becomes more tolerable as the movie goes on, because the stakes here are stop creeping on a woman who's not going out with you. Stop creeping on a woman, period. Yeah. And then later in the film, you're like, okay, he's got some survival instincts. So when the movie becomes about survival, he's got a little bit going for him.
He's like one of the few male characters who can put his dick down long enough to try and get out of the house.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. So we're at 7-Eleven, and there's the two dudes behind the counter staring at Suzanne's ass as she's bent over looking at shit.
And Suzanne is wearing what is like, do you like strippers? Mm-hmm. Do you like strippers? Have I got a stripper for you? Like the little lacy white baby doll socks, and then the like big poofy crinoline skirt. She's all blonde, and, you know, Suzanne's most predominant trait is that she's always applying makeup in her little mirror, and she knows all the boys are looking at her all the time.
Yep. I just love that she's essentially just doing downward dog to examine the potato chips on the bottom shelf for long enough so that her friend Angela can just fill a potato sack.
Yeah, like legit.
with food and drinks and everything for the party. And then she says she tells Angela, she's like, I do my makeup because I want to look good for the boys. You did invite some cute boys. And Angela says, I did, and I'm going to scare the shit out of them.
Yeah,
real Fairuza Balk vibes to Angela.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, I mean, like Fairuza Balk with like a patina of Fairuza Balk, not the deep actual.
No, I meant in looks, kind of her general
appearance.
Yeah. Okay, so I also clocked this that, we have this is a recurring thing when you watch movies and television when people are watching other things on the movie and television.
Uh-huh.
Like in Halloween, aren't they watching Night of the Living Dead? Is that what it
Yeah, I think
is?
so. Yeah.
But, Night of the Living Dead is free to use. So,
Sure.
that's why it appears on there. I collect this that when they cut back to Judy's house, her little brother is watching cartoons and he's watching the spider, that like 1930s spider and fly cartoon from Skinamarink.
Oh
And I was
yes.
like, God, it's probably just a free cartoon to use.
Yep. It's
Probably
all up there. It's
anybody
all that
can.
like merry melody shit,
Yeah.
the skeleton dance, all that sort of stuff.
Okay. My first laugh out loud moment in this movie, like that was deliberately intended for me to laugh out loud, is when Jay comes to pick up Judy and her mom is there. And her mom is like, "Hi, Jay. Would you like a fudge log? I just made them." Hands him a tray full of wet turds.
It like imagine if you took edamame and then coated them in chocolate. That's what
Mhm.
they look like.
Oh my God.
Like there's something very pea pod looking about them, but it's like
They're
they look like
glistening,
poop.
Cecil. They're
Ugh,
glistening.
Did you temper that chocolate? What's going on
No.
here? Is this the Great British Bake Off?
Okay, so they pick up Max and Franny on the way to Hull House. They pass by Stooge, Helen, and Roger, who got a flat tire. Stooge is the worst. Here's a thing where, like, Stooge has been driving in the opening scene. When we see them in this next scene,
He's
he's
a
in the
menace.
passenger seat.
He's a fucking menace.
All he does is call Helen, who we presume is his girlfriend. I don't know. All he does is call her a stupid bitch the whole time. But Jay and Judy, Max, and Franny just kind of pass them by. They're like, "Good luck. See you at Hull House." Okay, Hull House. Here's some lore about Hull House that
Oh
Max
yeah.
gives us.
Uh-huh.
It was Halloween night in
Oh
19
God.
but that the owner of the house had a party and he slaughtered everyone at the party and then killed himself.
And he was also a mortician. And
That's
he
right.
loved having sex with dead corpses or something.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's an underground stream that runs around the whole property, and that's the
Okay.
fence, the brick
Big
wall
brick
around the
wall, yeah.
property marks the place of the underground stream. And I'm like, okay, great. All of this will come back. Nope,
Yes.
nope, nope, none of it. None of it
Well,
comes back.
yeah,
They
you
mention the
know.
stream later, but
Yeah.
we don't ever see it. It doesn't really do anything. It just kind of like
Nope.
says that it's basically a moat that is
Yeah.
signified by a brick wall rather than a
A
river.
moat.
Yeah, a moat. Yeah.
I don't know why they put that. They're like, oh, just over this wall. But they're all very shocked. They're like, wow, this was really easy. This crazy old condemned building was so easy to get into. No one even put a lock on the gate. Almost like it's beckoning them inside.
Mm-hmm. Inside, they find a coffin.
They find many coffins.
They might find many coffins, but they find this one coffin, and Jay is like, I'm gonna jump in the coffin and scare the other guests when they arrive. And Judy's like, will you knock that shit off? But then suddenly the coffin opens up and there's fucking Sal.
Oh, Sal.
Boo! Sal
I
boos
love watching.
and cracks open a Coors Light.
Yes, yes. The most 80s. They're like, yeah, beer. I love it when, like, straight teenage boys are just like mad at each other for no reason at all in movies. Like, you can tell, like, do these people know each other? Do they
Yeah.
go to class together? Have they like, there's some sort of like, they all seem to know each other and yet somehow all hate each other. Yet somehow we're all friends or something.
I have no idea, like, the dynamics of kids at this time. That, like, my experience in high school was a little bit after this in the early 90s, but like I don't remember like this level of viciousness in real
No.
life high school times, but maybe I wasn't running with the right crowds. Maybe the
What?
band kids were gentler.
Like, just can't imagine going to a party thrown by my worst enemy. You know? Like, I'm not going to that party. One,
No.
why are they inviting me? That sounds like a trap. Two, I don't like you. Why would I spend more time with you? I'm
Yeah,
going to a party with my actual friends, which were fewer in number, but we're actually going to enjoy each other's company and make each other laugh and have a good old time.
that was kind of my thing with the intro. Like, just that one was just about sex, but where you just kind of look at a thing, you're like, why would I want to wear somebody down until they had sex with me? Because it just seems like part of the sex process is we should both be having fun. It's the same thing with a party. Like, why would I crash a party I'm not invited to? That by people who don't like me. Like, why wouldn't I want to
What?
find a party wherein I can have some fun and just
Because it's
play?
the 80s and we're here to party.
That's right. Okay, so, well, it is 80s, and the way we party is we go to an abandoned house up on a hill, and we play music on a boombox,
Uh-huh.
and we bring a strobe light that
Oh my
Helen
God. I
found.
love it when she's like, I found this in my mom's basement. She was an acid head in the
Acid
60s.
head.
I was like, yep. Yeah, wow. Okay.
It clocks.
And okay, all right. Or you went to Spencer's Gifts over at the mall and just got one.
Yeah. So power goes out, and Angela's like, I mean, the power goes out like on battery operated things
I know.
too, right?
Yeah.
So Angela's like, well, now it's time for a seance.
Oh, sure. But
So
not a
what,
regular seance.
a past lives seance?
It's like an inverse seance. And we're like, is that a thing? Okay, here are the rules. We're all going to stare into a mirror, and then the mirror will go black and you'll see your past lives. But we need a giant mirror that all of us can stare into. I was like, girl, you're just making this shit up.
Yep. So they find a full-length dressing room mirror and sit in front of it, and the as Angela's like, concentrate on my reflection, the mirror turns dark, and then in the darkness of the mirror we see this like crazy demon dragon mask.
Yeah.
That
Dragon face.
I feel like this was like a leftover prop from what was the heavy metal movie we
Oh, yeah.
watched?
Blood Roses?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, Black Roses or
Black
whatever.
Roses.
And then that demon mask then shows, I think, is Helen's face like hitting glass,
Yeah.
like dead body Helen, and Helen like screams and the mirror
Yeah.
shatters into pieces.
Because she's the only one who sees it.
Yeah.
And she's like screaming bloody murder, and everybody's like, shut up, what are you like really? They're like, and she is in tears. And of course Judy being someone named Judy is like, no, you guys aren't helping, what is it? And whatever Helen saw, she cannot get the words out because she is too mortified.
Yeah. I do like this shot here of it's an overhead shot of all the shards of mirror on the ground and
Oh, I
everyone kind of
know, right?
standing over it. And I'm like, this is a
Yeah.
really, really cool shot. I actually started thinking about, is this just clever blocking? But everybody's so clear in there. There's no like up shots on people's faces
Yeah.
in the mirror. And I don't know, it's
I
just
don't
a
know how they
really
did it.
clever shot. Yeah.
And it's like each of the characters kind of step into it.
Yeah.
They do a couple of these, like where we know that these are the characters in the film. We've got to find interesting ways to like show the conversation. Once the demon enters the room, it's one of those, they do the like that 70s show gag in which it's like we just put the camera in the middle of a circle and we just have everybody go around and say their line whenever the camera's in front of them, kind of thing. So good for you all for making some interesting directorial choices.
Yep. Well, the Hellmouth down in the basement is I guess the
Sure.
gutter cover that goes into the underground river. That's what opens, and now we have
very
Demon
Evil
Camp.
Dead.
Yes.
It's like, you just got like while a camera is just run through a dark space through hallways. But in Evil Dead, like it's through the woods, it's through everything's kind of lit up so you can see it. This is like the knockoff of the knockoff. This is the Alligator brand versus the Lacoste brand. So it's just sort of like what am I looking at? Wait, is that a no? That's a hallway, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
it are oh, okay, but now a demon is in the room. And everybody goes, ew, who ripped one? Demons smell like farts. It just got really cold in here. What's going on?
And
And
that
poor
demon,
Suzanne.
yeah, it goes into Suzanne's mouth. So Suzanne is now demon possessed.
I love it. She just like reverse exhales green smoke.
Uh-huh. And Roger, who is not really sort of avoiding the black stereotype of my daddy was a preacher sort of thing.
Yeah,
But I
we're
do
really
give
leaning, we're sort of leaning into that a little bit.
yeah, but Roger at least is like, you know, I am going to be the first to identify this is no fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm getting out before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And also we
And,
get some clarification from Angela that this isn't a haunted house, it's a possessed house. Demons are
oh,
different than I was like, yes, I'm following. You don't have to
okay,
explain, but
sure.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how she knows this. She's like, wait, bad smells. This is a sign of demon infestation. What's a demon infestation? We're like, okay, all right. I'm not sure where we're pulling this information from, but you know what? At least she's right.
Yeah.
Which, this movie is really interesting in that you wonder how much of this was Angela's plan from the beginning. Like how did she know the mirror was back there? How did she know what would happen? Like, how much did she have planned? Was she trying to summon a demon? Or was it just like, because she says, I'm going to scare the shit out of my friends in
Uh-huh.
quotes. But there
My
is this, but the sense of like, this is out of control. Like we have
yeah.
now reached the point where they have unlocked some sort of demon that they did not know was even there.
Yeah. My guess is she knew about the demon house and was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to have this party. It'll be great. I'll unleash this demon and get revenge for all the kids who picked on me or something."
Yeah.
That's my
But
guess.
it's not quite that deep.
It's never really stated at all why. I think it comes across in this movie that she sort of thought, "Let's have a séance and be spooky," and what she
Yeah.
did was open up a hellmouth that killed most
Yes.
everyone.
Oops.
Oops, sorry. So, Suzanne gives them Angela's car keys, gives Helen and Roger, because Helen's like, yeah, I kind of want to go with Roger. I
Yeah.
trust his
Like, let's get the
instinct.
fuck out of here. This is not like I saw a demon in a mirror. Party. I'm not ready to party right now.
No. And so those two go off because they're the couple who wants to escape,
Yeah.
but all the other couples want to pair off and go fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Suzanne takes Stooge with her,
Yeah.
saying, I'm in the mood for pork tonight.
Oh, sure.
Oh, good.
Nothing makes me feel better about my self-image.
Yep. Jay wants to go explore with Judy, and Max and Franny go fuck off somewhere else. And then Sal is kind of the person left kind of standing trying to figure out what's happening here, and he watches Suzanne before she takes off gives Angela like a big old deep kiss.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which I really
Demon
love.
transfer.
It's total demon transfer,
Lesbian demon transfer.
but also like just a big kiss between two women that's not pornographic, I guess. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's not playing at like male fantasies of lesbians or whatever. Okay. Max gives us some story that is furthering the lore that if the Native Americans never set foot
Oh,
on this side
yes.
of the creek
Oh, yeah.
because they knew. Again, this
It
is
was
going back
bad.
to the native people, the indigenous people knew it was cursed. This is the
Oh,
pet cemetery thing, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they actually figured out this shit's cursed and just fucked off. And now it's the white people who are coming in on this area,
Tells
getting their
a
shit fucked up.
completely insane story about somebody who like made a tent out of his wife and kid.
Yeah, and like chewed
And
off his baby's leg or something like
yeah, it
that.
was something ridiculous.
Jay keeps trying to feel up Judy. And she's like, understandably, she's like, not here, Jay.
Yeah. It's like, ew, it's dirty. But we
Yeah.
do have this moment of, oh, there. He's like, well, I know you went out with Sal. You probably went all the way. And she's like, none of your fucking business. And he's
Yeah.
like, come on, go all the way with me. And she's like, you know what? We're done. She shuts that shit down.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I like this conversation too, because again, we're not playing at, no, I'm a virgin, you have to believe me.
Yeah.
She literally is like, I went out with him once, and also none of your business what we did.
Yeah.
So outside, we've got Roger and Helen, and now we've got established that there is no gate anymore. It's the brick wall goes all the way around the house.
Uh-huh.
And Roger's really panicking, trying to figure out how to get out of here. And Helen's like, listen, we're already dead and we've gone to hell. And then when he turns around,
you know what?
she fucking ain't there.
He's just gone. Bye-bye.
Bye. He goes back into the car and just hides.
Which, smart, you know,
Yeah.
he just like tries to take a nap.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you know, listen, just wait it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's jump
see
to action here.
Suzanne has locked herself in the bathroom.
Yes.
Stooge is like, oh, I thought I was going in there with you. Oh no. And he knocks down the bathroom door.
Mm-hmm.
And finds Suzanne.
Is she? Oh, no. He opens the door to the bathroom and she's actually not there.
Oh, that's it. She's gone.
She's gone. He's like, what the fuck? So, which sends him back out to the living room area where we have Sal and Angela. And it's like, hey, Ange, what the fuck you doing? And she says, the Day of Atonement is at hand. And she pulls her hand out of the fireplace and her hands are just on fire.
No, wait, no, but not before that. She has to do a very interpretive dance piece.
Oh, yes. I didn't forget about the Dream Ballet. Love the fucking Dream Ballet here.
In which it's just her with her gauze, just feeling herself and doing spins and twirls and
dancing to Bauhaus.
Yeah. And like, you know, and Sal is got this very like, I'm transfixed. I know this is weird and something is not right here, but yet I cannot look away.
Yeah.
And listen, it is a full like 3-minute dance sequence. Like it is full on.
It's amazing.
It's pretty dope, to be honest.
It's pretty great. This is when Stooge shows back up and he's like, hey, sexy lady, like, it's like this other sexy lady abandoned him. So now like Stooge only thinks with his dick.
Yeah.
And Sal's like, listen, I would stay away from her because she's acting real weird.
Angela's, I don't know. She's an art major. We're not sure what's happening here.
She's in a place.
Yeah.
But Stooge gets up on Angela and they start slow dancing and she says, kiss me. And he does, and she bites his fucking tongue out.
Yep. Oops.
So he's a tongueless demon now.
Yes.
Sal comes across. So Sal goes back past that bathroom area and he sees Suzanne.
There you go.
Sitting on the floor. And he's like, hey, Suzanne, what the fuck are you doing? And she's got lipstick drawn all over her face. She's like, I'm fixing my face.
She's made a heart. Like,
yep.
Like a little heart shape out of her face. And she's like, I don't know. I can't. There's something about Suzanne that is just so camp. It's camp as fuck.
Uh-huh. And Sal is very much like, you know, I'm not feeling as horned up as I was earlier, so have a good one.
Yeah.
And what does Suzanne do when he walks off? She just unbuttons her blouse.
Yeah.
Pulls out her tits and starts drawing on them with lipstick.
Uh-huh.
And then the wildest fucking thing I've ever seen happens. Because if you said, pause the movie, write down 10 things you think are about to happen.
Okay, sure.
I would not have come up with take the entire tube of lipstick and shove it into my nipple. That is not what I would have
No,
written
that wasn't
down.
on your bingo card
No,
for this
no.
movie. I tried to warn you, Jeffrey. I really did.
I like rewound that. Like I was like, click, 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 back, back, back.
You're like, we gotta watch this one again.
Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
It's, I mean, it's a really fun piece of like practical special effects, because she's clearly wearing like some sort of like, those tits look waxy as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's like when you know what's coming, you know that you kind of like, you're like, okay, that, I don't know how real this is looking, but if you don't know what's coming, it is bizarro.
Yeah. I love this because I mean, I love anything where you take the setup, and when you have a setup to a joke or a set piece or a scare or a gross out, it's one thing to like do the thing everybody thinks you're going to do and do it well. But it's another thing to do the thing everyone thinks you're going to do and then just immediately turn left and go a different direction. And I think that shoving a tube of lipstick into one's nipple is just a thing that I don't think has ever been done before in writing or in film or in real life.
Nope.
So Jay then shows up, and Jay is
like immediately after,
yes.
immediately, like as in like the lipstick is just gone in. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, hey, what are you up to? She's like, what? Oh, hey, handsome.
He's so horned up because he sees a woman sitting on the floor, shirt open, lipstick all over her face and chest. And I'm like, this is not a woman you want to mess with right now.
No.
Because at best, she's really fucked up on something.
I know. I love Sal's reaction. It's like, are you on drugs? This is what, you know, and like, honestly, a lot of the like, and like the demon possessed people in this film up to this point, they are pretty, like, honestly, pretty normal behavior for, you know, like someone who's really high.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I was just doing some body art here in the corner of this spooky old bathroom with myself. Because the mushrooms make it look really fun. I don't know. It feels really good on my nipple. Wait, where is my lipstick? I know I left it around here somewhere.
Well, she does a freaky ass strip tease for him, and then gets on top of him, ride cowgirl ride, and then she starts going, "Stop staring at me."
Oh my God, I love it. What's wrong with my makeup? Something's wrong with my makeup. Why are you looking at me? And he's like, your makeup, what? I'm like half inside you. Stop worrying about your makeup. Stop looking at my face.
Yes.
And then she gouges his eyes out.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, oh, this was okay. So I mixed up earlier the Angela getting her hands in the fire, because Sal goes back, finds Angela by the fireplace. He's like, "Hey, Ange, I'm splitting." She's like, "Oh, but I was just warming my hands in the fire."
Oh my God, I love it.
Max and Franny, meanwhile, are like, you know where it'd be an awesome place to do it is in that coffin.
Okay, one, good for you for being adventurous.
Yeah.
And, you know, for being up for it. And then I also love the follow-up of like, they're doing it in the coffin. She's like, ow, this is worse than like my dad's Studebaker or whatever the fuck he says. Like mine's Volkswagen. Like, I love that they're really trying to like take this very seriously to enter the sex Olympics.
Yes, I agree.
Like, where's all the places we could possibly, because honestly, they have the most like relationship of this movie.
Agreed.
Like, they're going together. He kind of like watches Suzanne do her little dance, but like she steps in and is like, hey, remember me? I'm your girlfriend. You know? And so they're kind of like, okay. And also they both seem to be not believable, because very little is believable in this film, but they're like equal parts like, oh, we heard the legends of this place, so maybe we kind of believe, but also we're here to fuck in a coffin before we go.
Right.
What would that be if the Mile High Club is like having sex in an airplane? Would that be the like 6 feet under club?
I
If you have
love the
sex,
6 feet under club. Yeah, sex in a
you have
coffin.
sex in a coffin.
Hmm.
Well, they are figuring out just how they're working on the complications, the realities, the practicalities of the 6 feet under club.
Yes.
When I think Stooge comes
Hmm.
in and
And
he just fucking he like what does he
he
do to her?
he breaks Franny's neck. He just does the
Oh yeah,
neck
breaks Franny's
twist.
neck and then shuts the coffin lid
Uh-huh.
onto the dude's arm like 5 or 6 times and then just leaves them.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh my God. So now Roger out in the car, he's like, the car is shaking. There's a
Yeah.
rumbling
Wakes
sound,
him
and
up.
then he's like, "Oh, stop fucking around, Stooge. I know
Oh my
that's
god.
you."
My
Classic.
least favorite horror trope. Stop fucking around, you guys.
And then nope. It's Helen falling from a great height face first onto the windshield.
Yeah. Unexplained.
Unexplained, don't know where she went, how she got snatched up,
No,
how she fell.
no. Because at that point, I was like, who even is this character? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a like, ah! It's a jump scare, which it's a pretty good jump scare.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also like, what body even is that? Oh, I guess that's Helen, I suppose.
Yeah. Well then obviously Roger's on the run. He runs back into the house and finds Sal.
Yeah. Okay. And
And
they're like fucked up shit. I love, again, this is a moment where they're like, no, we have turned the corner. We are officially in a horror movie. If you are talking to me and you don't have yellow eyes or big claws, you are on Team Human.
yes.
And I like that they're kind of like, okay, Team Human, Team Human. And then they hear Judy, who's been locked in this closet the whole time.
Uh-huh.
They're like, wait, she might be Team Demon. No, that can't be. But sure enough, she is Team Human.
Yep. And here comes Angela rushing after them after they bail Judy out of jail. And
Listen,
uh-huh.
nothing succeeds like putting a person in a big poofy dress, putting them on a pair of roller skates and dragging them down a hallway. Really, nothing says horror movie like the long hallway shot in which the person isn't walking. And this has been a weird horror. This has been a horror thing since like the black and white films. Like I want to say we got this in like Nosferatu or something. Like this is, the idea of moving without walking, floating down a hallway, because it's a pretty easy effect to achieve. You just literally just drag somebody on like an apple cart, like down a hallway.
It's like the gentleman from the Hush episode of Buffy, right? The way they just kind of glide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she is gliding at like 1 mile an hour.
Yep.
Pulling faces, just
Yep.
And of course everybody's cowering in fear.
Yeah,
but
Judy
not going
can't
anywhere
move because she's a girl in the 80s. Judy's like,
Yes.
and it's like it's
I think
Sal's trying to like just get up and move your legs.
Well, and I love it. It's like yeah. She's like, I can't. She sort of faints, but she doesn't faint. She just she gets weak in the knees.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if I saw, the mean girl, the mean smart witchy girl from history class turned into a demon floating towards me, I don't know. I don't think I'd probably shit myself. So, you'd have to deal with that as well.
Yep. Okay, so they're on the run. They finally get moving again. They run into Suzanne and Jay. Suzanne being like, how about an orgy? I bet I could get Jay hard again.
Oh my God. Oof.
And I love this because I think it's Sal who's like, run, Judy, run. And Suzanne's like, run, Judy, run.
Run.
Like, that's what she sounds like.
Judy, run.
That's it. See Judy, run.
Amazing.
And Sal gets like tossed out the window.
Yeah. Or something.
So Judy's on her own now. And she's, by the way, Halloween costume wise, she is dressed as Alice from the Disney's Alice in Wonderland. She finds Max's severed arm by the coffin, which then leaps up and grabs her. Then the coffin opens and Demon, Franny, and Max rise up. So now everybody's rising.
Everybody's
Demon's
a demon.
rising. Yeah.
Team Demon.
It's almost like this night is of the demons.
It's like a night of the demons.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good. Let's workshop that title.
Yeah.
Okay. For whatever reason, okay, so Sal gets thrown out the window, but then when he's still alive, he's on the ground, and then he just narrates the set around him. He's like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, it's an air shaft. No wonder there weren't any boards on the window, but I can't get out of here. Oh, thank God, there's a water pipe. I'll climb this." Like, that's his dialogue in this scene.
Yep. I love it. I never went to film school, Jeffrey. I don't know how movies are made. I'm not an expert. But really, I think having a character narrate exactly what they see and do for like a good 2 minutes you can't go wrong. What is this? This is a coffee cup. I am drinking this coffee. Ah, that coffee is good. What is this? A computer? Here we go. What is my phone? I have a pencil. I'm going to use it. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless it. Because I think the filmmakers know we have a lot of balls in the air. Some of them are demon balls. Some of them are human balls. And we know which ones are which now, but we've kind of scattered everybody. So why not just have a character narrate exactly what they're doing and seeing to no one in particular?
It's perfect. It's so perfect.
I do that all the time at home.
I do. I honestly, I kind of do.
I'm cutting Brussels sprouts. Look at me. This is a Brussels sprout cut.
I have found as I've gotten older, I think I've always sort of done this, but as I've gotten older, I will do a lot of things like, all right, let's see. I just set down the box opener. Where do I get the oh, you idiot. Like, you don't put it on the wooden table. Like, close the knife when you're done with it. You know, that sort of thing. I'm like, why did I just narrate my inner dialogue?
That's okay. Mostly my outward is really just asking for help with the universe. I'm like, why God? Why me? Please help. Please send help. If you're there. Are you there, God? It's me, Cecil.
And God is just like, Cecil, you're just having your first period. That's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
If only somebody had explained this to me.
I know. Yeah, that's right. That's the bird of the birds and the bees. I think.
Is that the bird part?
I can't remember what that meant. So there's a lot of just Judy running around and avoiding Angela.
Yeah, we're into like just chasing. And then like Judy kind of teams up with Roger again.
But then Roger keeps showing up and then running away, showing up. Like, they didn't quite know what to do with Roger.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, I want him to live, but I don't really want him to do things.
Right. But Roger's always the first one to be like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
So like while Judy is, like sort of crouched in the corner and Sal is trying to like Roger gone.
Yeah.
Out.
So we end up at the top of the mansion, castle, whatever we're in.
Sure.
And Sal has shown back up to save her from Angela. And he and Angela get into a tussle, and then they both like fly off the building. But obviously it's Sal who dies. This is where he gets impaled on just a piece of wood or something on the ground.
Yeah.
I did this moment where like Angela's like, don't tell me you're leaving. Sal decided to stick around.
And then it cuts to it cuts to Sal's dead body.
With a stick.
He's got like pipes through his chest, and he has fallen, coincidentally enough, in front of a tombstone that says Sal, born 19 whatever, dead tonight.
Yes.
I was like, I want that on a t-shirt. Just with my name, Cecil Baldwin, born 19 dead tonight.
I kind of just want that on my tombstone now that I'm thinking about it.
Dead now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. This scene goes on for a bit longer than it should, admittedly. Yeah. This is like we have Judy dangling by her hands above, 3 stories up. Sal and Demon Angela are on one side of a wall, and
Uh-huh.
Roger has sort of fallen onto the like outside, not outside the big wall,
Yeah.
but just a wall. Like we're not out,
Yeah.
but so Judy is just trying to like hand over hand to her right. And listen, there's a window below her. She has footing.
Yeah.
She's not really being menaced from above too terribly much.
No.
And yet, this takes so long of just Judy being like, I can't. Oh no, I can't. You
She
gotta
finds
do it, girl. You
and
gotta She's like, I can't do it.
it takes Stooge showing up before she
Yeah.
finally falls down,
Yes.
and Roger kind of
It's like
catches
she
her, and
makes it to actually like where she would be. She was like, okay. And
yeah.
then jump scare, Stooge.
This
And she kind of
this
falls on Roger, who breaks her fall. So, whoo,
yeah.
oh God, they made it. But listen, it takes way too like it's very much like Little Rascals mentality, this movie.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you know, there's this kind of like, no girls allowed, like we're really operating at a very basic level of like, girls like frilly things like makeup and cute boys, and boys like, getting laid at any cost imaginable. But like part of all of that includes, even in the like the heights of terror, girls can't do pull-ups,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
And girls can't like make a decision to run away from things that are
no
scary, right?
no
Yeah.
they need somebody coaching them, be like, come on, come on. No, we're at that level. We're at
Yeah.
like like childhood level, like no girls allowed, keep out
Yeah.
of my treehouse kind of level of where we're working. So just know that.
Now we're into the section of the film that I would like to call How Do Architecture Work?
Oh dear.
Which is Judy and Roger have run down into the basement. Okay.
Yes.
So they're in the basement where there's the um the hellmouth, right? Like it's like the
Yeah.
whatever, the tunnel that goes underground into the
Sure.
underground river or
Yeah.
whatever.
And it's like, I think and they've got Angela and maybe Stooge coming after them.
Yeah. But when they open it up, it turns out, no, that's not a tunnel out. That's a fucking oven. And they find
I
like
love it.
skulls and shit in there.
So like Roger is having an actual like human response to all this. Like the two of them have kind of locked the door. There's Demon Stooge, Demon Angela on the other side. And like Roger is actually crying, like
Yeah.
really, really breaking down. And Judy's like, come on, we got to do this. We've got to keep going. Look, there's a door over here. Let's go through the door. And Roger's like, I don't think that's a great. Why is that door made of metal and has like one of those like submarine tourney handles on it? I don't know if that's an And sure enough, Aunt Judy is like, dup, 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 dup. What is this? Oh, a human skull. This is an oven. So, okay, maybe
Uh-huh.
don't go into the oven, even if
Yeah.
you're hiding from demons.
Right.
Seems like you're kind of helping them out. You're helping out Team Demon if you hide in an oven.
Yes. Well, they managed to, so the demons come down, pound on the door. They try telling Roger, like, just open the door, Roger. We just want her, not you. You'll be fine, whatever.
Sure.
But Judy realizes if it's an oven, there's a gas pipe. So she breaks the gas pipe off the wall and then uses a lighter to turn it into a blowtorch.
Chekhov's lighter.
Yeah. Oh, wait, when did the lighter come in?
Well, okay, so during the party sequence, before anybody's a demon, like Judy, this is one of my favorite things. It's like they're like partying, and to Judy that just means I'm gonna light some candles and just like slightly rearrange trays of food that no one is eating and everyone's ignoring. And Angela comes up and gives her shit for leaving the lighter on the table, being like, oh, we don't want to offend the ghosts because there's like, you're leaving trash everywhere. So we know that Judy has a pretty malfunctional dead lighter in her pocket.
That's right.
Thank God they set that up an hour and a half ago, because woof, this whole movie would have not made any sense if we had not known that.
Yeah, who in 1988, what teenager in 1988, who would have a lighter?
Who would have a lighter? And of course, it's the like, this lighter's dead. The demons are coming at her. This lighter's dead. And then at the last possible second, flamethrower.
Yeah. Okay, so they don't really show this chase from what I remember. And so suddenly we're, I think, on the second floor. This is still part of how do architecture work. So we've gone from the basement, I think, run all the way up to the second floor. So because here's what happens. Well, one, we get the great line when Demon Jay and Angela are there, and Angela says, "What's the matter, Judy? Don't you like your blind date?"
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, Crypt Keeper.
So they're cornered, and Roger's like, you know what? Again, fuck this shit. And he goes running and dives out the window.
Yeah. But even that is like, it's not even a window. It's like a door that just leads to like an outside rooftop or something.
Yeah. And it kind of has a moment of, did he die or did he live? You know?
Yeah. But that's okay, because he's going to narrate what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I made it. I'm okay.
As he stands up, he's like, I'm alive. I'm alive.
But then the very next scene is Judy, gets away from the demons, kicks her way out this door, and she is literally on the ground floor.
I don't know.
And she just walks outside to where Roger is. I'm like, well, yeah. Roger, you're fine. You dove out of a 0-floor window.
Yes.
Or 0-foot window off the ground. Okay. So now they're running. Judy says we have to get to the gate. But Roger, having escaped many times, tried to get out of this place.
Yes,
he's like,
he knows there is no gate.
There's no gate. But here's barbed wire. Not sure why there's barbed wire.
Not sure. Also, there's like, here's the thing that I was thinking, back when they were figuring out that there's no gate, there are trees like right in front of that wall. I was like, you could just climb a tree and then just right over top. No? Okay, never mind.
Boy, and again, these demons are getting paid by the hour because they are in no hurry to rush out there and get these two. These demons were in the same room as Judy as she ran out the front door to the gate, which is maybe 30 feet away from the house.
Yeah.
Or not the gate, but the wall. And her and Roger have time to like argue about whether or not there's a gate. They have time to find a barbed wire hanging from the top of the fence.
Roger's up and over pretty quick.
Yeah, he gets up to the top. Judy's climbing. It's cutting her hands. He's like, give me your hand. And he reaches up and, it's this like, whatever. This is a good like 12, 15 foot tall wall.
Yeah.
He's laying on top of the wall trying to pull her up. And she got I can't. Finally, after 5 fucking minutes, here comes Stooge. And he grabs Judy's calf and it burns her skin.
Yeah. Ooh.
And now the others are coming. And
Roger falls into safety.
Yeah, he loses his grip on her and falls down the other side of the wall. And then somehow finds his way back up on top of the wall to pull her up.
Unknown. It's it's like horror and comedy rules of like, it's the Roger Rabbit of like, oh, I couldn't have taken the handcuffs off. I can only take them off when they're funny, when it's a gag. This is like, I can only climb a wall when it's absolutely too late and the demons are right up on top of us. Before, when we had hours to kill, when we had many hours and you could have like, I don't know, gotten a stick and, like started chipping away at bricks in order to make like a hand or a foothold. No. No, we have to wait until the last goddamn second. But Roger somehow manages to climb this wall from the other side, grabs Judy's hand, doesn't leave her behind like a good mensch.
Yep.
Kind of gets her and sort of like tumbles them both over the wall.
And then we just see smoke fill the courtyard. And we get one last look at the giant leftover prop demon head. And then it shrivels into nothing. And then we're all fine.
And then sure enough, cut to Cut to stock footage of sun rising at an impossibly quick rate.
Yep.
And all the demons are like, oh no.
And then Roger and Judy just shamble home together
It's
through the
very
neighborhood.
like Heathers, the end of Heathers.
Yes.
Like it's morning. They're like covered in blood and dirt. Their costumes are all ripped. And who do they pass? But the cranky old man picking up his morning paper. And he's like, oh, these fucking kids out all night. You're trash. But they don't engage. They're just going home because they're tired. And also they have to explain to their parents why like 6 people who went to their high school are all dead.
Yes.
Or melted. Because listen, the demons actually like melt into goop.
Yeah.
When they're exposed to the sun. So good luck trying to explain to the cops what happened that night. Because there's no bodies to be found.
No.
You two are probably going to be institutionalized in some capacity for the rest of your lives.
Yeah. Well, grumpy old man goes back in to his house and he sits down for breakfast, and his like cute old lady of a wife is like, good morning, dear.
Good morning.
What's so good about it?
I've made you your coffee and I've made you this breakfast. How is it? It's okay. Just okay. Oh.
You always loved my homemade tarts that I make for you. And he's like, when'd you make these? Well, I made them last night. You bought all those apples. I didn't want them to so many apples. I didn't want them to go bad. And we didn't have very many trick-or-treaters, not like the old days. And then he realizes, oh shit, he's just been chewing on fucking utility razor blades.
Yeah.
And
but not only
them.
chewing, like swallowed, and now one of them is trying to cut its way out of his throat. So there's that. Like a vibrator set on high that you have somehow just like gotten like it's got a mind of its own. And I kind of love this like bit of like clearly cranky old man who hates everything, and his wife is like, oh dear, you're a dick and I have killed you. Life can begin anew for me at the age of 72.
Bleeds out through his throat, falls into his placemat, and she walks over and just pats him on the head and says, happy Halloween, dear. And then double-handed with her coffee mug just does a little,
like the taster's choice.
Yep. The end. Pop song credits.
Oh, I love it.
Holy shit. Let's rate this film.
Why not?
All right. Squeamish approachability. Like, if you're horror squeamish, how approachable is this on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being like, don't go near this. 10 being it's super accessible to you, the horror squeamish. I would give Night of the Demons, I don't know, let's say 3 homemade apple tarts out of 10. It's super silly. And so, like, I'm not going to tell you it's scary. It's got jump scares, but it's silly. I think for me, the reason I give it a lower accessibility is just, if you're not watching a lot of horror, this is a ton of practical gore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of practical gory set pieces.
Like Angela, like the makeup on Angela, Suzanne, and Stooge are pretty, like, they're the most demony.
Yeah.
And they stay demony for a long time. But there's like arms being ripped off.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, it's pretty bloody.
Pretty bloody. It's pretty gory. I've gotten to the point where that stuff doesn't really get to me anymore. I kind of really appreciate it. It's kind of fun. But yeah, we got a kid who gets his eyes gouged out with just purple gooey blood squirting everywhere and that sort of thing. Also just classic 80s teenage meanness, just riddled with overt misogyny. And also strobe light, just reminding you that there's a strobe light effect in this movie.
I actually thought about it, like, it is disorienting in the most delightful way, but it is like, okay, listen, this strobing is causing an acid flashback right now.
Yeah, and so just a literal like physical trigger warning for anyone who needs to avoid the strobe. So that's a rating from me. Let's say 3 out of 10. What about you, Cecil?
Oh man, this is such a I've seen this one a couple of times, and it's on that scale of high camp 80s nostalgia, and I don't know how much of it is like this movie's actually worth it, or it's just me reliving my youth watching USA Up All Night,
Uh-huh.
hosted by Gilbert Godfrey and Rhonda Shear, you know.
Huh?
But this is it's pretty cheeseball. It's funny, but it's also a very specific kind of funny
Yeah.
that is maybe not so longer funny. But having said that, the effects are pretty fun, very, very Halloweeny.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Like if you're gonna have like people over and you want to put on something like kind of campy that you don't have to pay too much attention to,
Right?
this is a good background Halloween party kind of movie. It does have weird moments of lucidity, like the 3-minute demon dance sequence. Sure, why
Yeah.
not? It's actually kind of well done, and they're committing to it. So I applaud them for that. And I love anything with a dream ballet. So for that reason, I am going to give this 7 out of 10 bodacious titties.
Yes. Let's figure out what movie we will watch next. You have a scare die. I have a style die. We'll roll those up. See what movie matches those two things. So, Cecil, on your scare die, if you roll a 1, our scare is contagious. 2, monster. 3, dolls and or clowns. 4, a sadist. 5, animals. Or 6, bad mom. What's our scare?
That's a 6.
Bad mom.
Bad mom.
All right, we're going to match up your bad mom scare with whatever style I roll. If I roll a 1, our style is a Latin American film. 2, pre-1950s. 3, something from the 1970s. 4, LGBTQ plus, not just campy, but actually having these characters or issues featured in the film. 5, a psychological horror, maybe something mostly bloodless. 6, WTF, just a real what the fuck did I just watch movie. I got a 3, 1970s, bad mom.
Well, we only have one on this grid.
I haven't even opened the grid, and I know which one you're talking about.
I mean, it's a classic. We've not covered it on this film. It features a bad mom who, unfortunately, RIP, passed away this year.
Yeah.
And that is Piper Laurie in Carrie.
It's hard to think of one that can top that. I thought, when I remember putting Carrie on this list, because it came immediately to mind, but also I thought Mommy Dearest would have fit this too, but Mommy Dearest is like 1980, I think, so we just missed the 70s.
Yeah, a bit.
But Mommy Dearest has a very 1970s vibe. Let's at least go through what people had suggested on our Letterboxd.
Essentially, I love this. I love you all on Letterboxd because everyone's just like Carrie. Just no, I'm seconding Carrie.
Yes,
like everybody, not everybody, but the vast majority is like, yeah, no, this is the obvious choice.
It's one of those things where you really do have such the obvious choice in Carrie, but these others are pretty inspired. These others are very, very good. Yeah. Whereas Carrie is like so perfect. But Cronenberg TA gives us Deep Red, Dario Argento's first real horror movie, and has a very bad mom. Weaponized Toaster gives us The Baby, 1973.
Social worker Anne Gentry is fascinated by the case of Mrs. Wadsworth and her fully grown son who has the mind and behavior of a baby. Her interest fast becomes obsession, leads to bizarre and violent conclusion. This sounds insane.
Yes.
I mean, The Baby. This is one that I think is on the like what the fuck lists of horror. People are just like the 70s was not ready for this movie.
No,
and I don't know if I'm ready for this movie.
Beyond the Door in 74 was also from Weaponized Toaster. A housewife becomes demonically possessed during pregnancy.
Ooh, fun.
That is fun. Ruby, 1977, from Ganymede's Cup. Ruby is certainly not a good girlfriend, also not a good mom to her daughter. Uh-oh. Madeline, Anatomy of a Nightmare, 1974. This is from Brave Crab. Although Brave Crab does say it's mostly related to the unborn baby.
Okay.
Mila Who brings up The Brood, which we have done, 1979. KZ Monster brings up Valerie and her Week of Wonders, which this comment was probably posted before we did that episode, but yes.
Uh-huh.
More seconding and thirding of Carrie's.
There's a couple secondings of the baby, though. The baby.
I'm really curious about the baby from 1973. Oh yeah, I know this poster cover. Yeah. Yeah, that looks insane.
Let's see. We have Benjamin Barron recommends Beyond the Door, Italian exorcist ripoff where the mother is possessed.
Oh yeah, this is the weaponized toaster one, the housewife demonically possessed one.
Beyond the Door.
Beyond the Door, yeah. While us dubbing shitty kids.
Oh, yes.
Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. From Alexander Keir. A bit of a stretch since the protagonist bad mom is dead before the story takes place.
Okay.
I have seen this movie. I don't remember it very well at all.
I don't know. Stars a young Jodie Foster in 1976 as a child actor being probably terrified by her bad dead mom.
Yeah. And finally, Suspicious Beans gives us Mumsy, Nanny, Sunny, and Girly, 1970. This sounds British, Cecil.
Mumsy?
Fatherless clan kidnaps peeps and forces them to participate in a game in which they are the perfect family, and they don't like the ones who don't play along.
Oh my.
That actually sounds really fucking good. I really like this a lot. But clearly we're doing Carrie, right?
I think that's the way. We've not done it. This show has been going on long enough. It's time.
It is absolutely time that we get some.
It is.
That's
high
Brian
70s.
Fincher. Brian Fincher.
No.
David Fincher. Brian De Palma. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well before Fincher.
John Travolta. Sissy Spacek. Piper Laurie. I mean, it's the Scream Queen, famous Scream Queen, who's also plays like the mean girl best friend. It's like lots of exposed crop top dudes with like perfect abs and like knee-high socks and jean shorts.
Dreamy. I'm so excited.
Stephen King. Come on. This is the move.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. And if you have thoughts on Night of the Demons or ideas for other movies that would have been good, bad, mom meets 1970s, let us know on Instagram at Random Horror 9 or on Patreon, where we have public discussion threads for every episode, and you do not need to be a paying member to participate in those. So watch Carrie from 1976 with us this weekend. Come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no one shoving lipstick tubes into your titties or nothing. Boo!